Thursday, and welcome to our latest installment of Market of the Moment.
The Kevin and Fred Show is a podcast. Really, it's an idea. It's an idea to share other people's ideas and genius or expert, if you will. One of the segments we do is a weekly expert interview. So what I like to do is I tend to be really inquisitive and understand that people operate differently, and I can see when they're winning. I often see that they're doing it differently than, say, I am or somebody else is, and I like to dive into that. Number one, to see what I can learn. But number two, because I want to share that with other people. When I think of some of my favorite episodes ever, I think of Gary Vee. Everybody knows Gary Vee, and granted, he's not in real estate, but he has influenced real estate at a high level, real estate agents and brokers, and even in the mortgage world. So Gary Vee's been one of my favorite guests. I've actually had him on twice. Had Frank Klesitz on, who runs a company that's all about marketing for real estate agents, but we specifically dove into mail, like actual snail mail, and the science and thought that goes into that. Another gentleman recently by the name of Brandon Brittingham, who uses his real estate sales business as a hub to build all sorts of other businesses like property management, home services, you name it. So you can find the Kevin and Fred Show anywhere you find podcasts, whether that happens to be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. Or if you want to catch the video version of it, we always upload the shows to YouTube. You can also catch them inside of our Facebook group, Next Level Agents. But anywhere you want to look to consume your content that's natural to you, you'll be able to find the Kevin and Fred Show podcast.
It was just so clear to me as you were describing what you're doing, the passion that you have for learning, and the passion you have for sharing what you have learned with your experience in this business. And so, it's funny because my plan was to lead to a question about what was the incarnation of this, what got you started, but I'm guessing it has something to do with that.
Yeah, it's funny. I've always wanted to do a podcast, mostly because what I said. Like I tend to kind of quiz people, anyways, on whether I've got a microphone and recording it or not. I tend to try to figure out what makes them tick and what makes them successful and how are they winning, especially if they're doing it differently than the way most other people are. And so I'd always wanted to do that, and quite frankly, I just didn't know how. I mean, I literally did not know how. For me, it had to be in my mind. I'd built it up as this thing that was super hard to do, and that was way beyond my technical ability. And then one day, someone in my office just said, "Hey, the video that you guys just made, I could make that. I could rip the audio off and put it on a podcast if you wanted." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "You're telling me you can take the audio from a video, and then that could be you could put that on a podcast?" I mean, this literally blew my mind on. And
Yeah.
I literally, the next thing I said to her, I said, "So are you telling me that if I go interview somebody on Zoom and send you the audio, send you that video file, you could make that into a podcast?" So she said, "Yes." I said, "I'll be back." I walked out of her office, and I'm not kidding, I started recording podcasts. I just started, and I still, like, I know some of the back end stuff that happens now, but all I do is I schedule podcasts, I record them, I upload them, and send them her way.
So let's talk about that nearly free money.
Yes, it is nearly free. So interest rates spiked up in February. We had like almost 6 weeks of just continuous increase in interest rates. And there was a lot of like market fundamental actions going on. But basically, the market just got oversold. And so a lot of analysts were expecting at some time that we were going to see interest rates come back down. So over the last like 6 trading days, we've started to see interest rates improve. We saw a really nice improvement this morning in the market, and we're going to watch to see where we close today, because depending on if the market can hold the level it's at right now, we may even see rates increase for the next couple of days. So it's kind of too early in the day to tell, but the overall expectation of interest rates is that they will rise. But as they're rising, we're going to have some ups and downs, and that's just normal in any market. But the reason that they will for sure rise is because as the economy recovers, the Fed will start to pull back on their mortgage-backed security purchases. And you can look at charts to figure out, where could rates potentially go when the Fed is done with their purchase program. And the expectation is that rates would probably go up about 50 to 100 basis points. So that's about 0.5 to 1% of an increase in interest rates once the Fed has pulled out. So, right now, if we're sitting in the high 2s, low 3s, we're still talking incredible interest rates, but not as incredible as they are right now, which is why we want to take advantage of it if we can.
It shouldn't be a secret that we're experiencing what we are today because we've had 9 straight years of price growth since 2012. But at the same time, it's been underbuilt for over 10 years. When the last, bust happened, all the builders retreated. And, I come from 25 years in the builder world, so I was part of it. Everybody was selling their land. Everybody was 5 to 10 year positions. So everybody retreated and they never caught back up. And so with the population that we have today, I think we were 80,000 influx of last year above the year before. We get 200 people moving here every day. So we don't have a demand problem. We have a supply problem. And so, what does that mean for us today? I'm dealing with my agents every day, and I'm dealing with buyers and sellers that are looking at me going, what does this mean to me? Should I buy today? Should I not buy today? If I buy today, am I going to be overpaying? Yeah, for a couple months, you might be overpaying. But, so hovering around, we're the second hottest market in the nation.
Next week, we're talking commercial real estate. We're going to have Paul McFarland and Tony Preston on, and they're going to be talking about some of the different layers and the demand and some of the things that we're seeing in that business as well. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and look forward to being back next week. Thank you.